I'm Tyler.
And I'm Ryan, and this is Retrobit Unplugged. Tyler, happy July 13th.
Hot as hell.
It is hot. It's horribly hot here in Sacramento right now. It was 103 on Friday. It was 101 or 100 on Thursday. And it does not seem like it's going to stop anytime soon.
Yep. We had a good run of it being nice in July.
We did. We had like what, a week and a half.
It wasn't even getting into the 80s. It was the 70s for a week. And that changed immediately.
It was. And so for the next like 6 weeks.
And then so now we're like this till like middle of September.
Unfortunately,
because even August won't do anything.
It won't. But on a positive note, the days are going to start getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Well, we are moving on to part dos of our dos or do French. Isn't that what they used to say on?
I don't know French, but sure.
All right. That's the only languages I know for two. Part 2 of the wrestling video game saga. Our first one, I feel like we went through pretty in depth, understood quite a few things, but today that's what we're going to get into. But before we go into all that, just want to talk about our YouTube and TikTok channels right now. So our YouTube has jumped up. We're up to 21 subscribers now, and our TikTok's at 23 subscribers. So we're slowly climbing. I think we were at 10 when we recorded on YouTube, our last one. We were like 10 subscribers, so we're up to 21. So with that, if you guys are watching this, please like and subscribe so we can get our podcast out to the masses. And if you're watching this segment on TikTok, please follow us, drop some hearts on this, so that way we can spread our podcast across all.
And even audio versions. Follow on audio versions also. If you don't
Amazon
have video versions.
We have Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
I mean, there's a
Apple.
podcast on it. If you listen to podcasts on there, we're probably on there.
We do. So, I'm gonna give a quick shout out before we do that. So as you can see, we're in the 05. It's 20 years ago that the White Sox won the World Series.
It's July.
20 years ago this October. But rip to Bobby Jenks. Did you see what ESPN said?
Yes, I talked to you about this.
I know, but I'm irked. I'm irked about.
I mean,
this.
I would be too.
He was not just a random player.
That's how they implied it, huh?
That's how they implied it. They said he was a random player. He was on the roster. Was their exact words?
Yeah, on the roster when they won the World Series. Well, I mean, trust me, you're not the only one who jumped on him, because immediately everyone was like, how about he closed the World Series too?
He was called up in July.
So what? That's see, August, September. So playoff starts in September.
Mm-hmm.
So that.
So he was about
2 to 3 months,
half the season.
A turnaround before you have to go into the postseason. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
what? Called up in July. World Series usually October. So 3 months after he got called up, he was told, guess what? You are closing. You are our closer for the rest of the season and the postseason.
Yeah, he was in July. He was told that. So
the pressure. Your first 3 months in the bigs, you are the closing pitcher,
and he was 24 years old that season.
That's steel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm gonna say, but steel to go out there and do what he did. And I think.
And he was before his time. So nowadays, when you watch MLB, all these reliever pitchers.
I mean, not even just if you're gonna say throwing Hunter, it's not even. It's not even closes. Pretty much all pitchers nowadays are throwing
98 to 103. Like, it's easy. Back then, like a lot of you had a few 95, 96ers, but that was like the high end.
That's a change up now.
That's a change up now. Back then, he would come in and his curveball was almost 100 miles an hour.
Is that possible?
He was throwing Heat.
I feel like a 100-mile-per-hour curveball was legitimately impossible to hit
It was hard to hit. He was making batters look
because
stupid.
with the break, where would the pitch have time to break on a curveball going that fast?
It didn't break as much as some of your other pitchers.
So it might have been more of like a sinker.
Kind of, yeah,
Type
but
deal?
it still kind of curved. It was flying. So I want to get that out the way. That's why I didn't go with the Supersonics hat today.
Yeah, you'll have another reason to trust me about. You give this a couple more days, you may have a reason to pull that hat out.
I'm hopeful, but we're not going to talk about that day.
No.
Today, that's all I'm going to say about the White Sox. We are still in the cellar. It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, really quickly,
Mhm.
I'll make you happy.
Mhm.
The future is teal.
The future is teal. But we're not going to get to that today.
No.
Today is your part 2 of your episode.
Hey man, stop putting pressure on me.
Well, let's channel, rip Bobby Jenks. Let's channel our inner Bobby Jenks,
Fine.
and you're gonna close out this number 2. There you go. You're not a lefty though.
Oh, you're right.
There we go.
Switch pitcher, right?
We have not seen that yet.
Yeah, you have. There's been one.
Did he make it to the majors?
Yeah. I think he was on the Giants.
Hmm.
Pat Van Dyke, I think that was his name.
I don't know.
The rule behind it was weird. It was like, I'll make it quick, but it was like because he has his own rule in the rule book now because of it, and basically the way it worked was before ever inning he pitched, he had to tell the umpire which arm he was going to pitch with, and he had to stick with it for the half inning. But that's not important today. No, we're talking about wrestling.
We're going to talk about more about wrestling. You have
no idea what we're talking about.
I know video games, which is our entire channel.
How about wrestling?
I played the one that we talked about in the last one.
How about outside of video game
wrestling? I know a little bit because I'm part of the RBWF.
And you live with me and him. So.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I know. But I know you were excited for this part.
Yeah, but now we're starting to get to the parts to these games that I've actually played.
So we
not
left
these first 3.
So we left off. Okay. The last game we talked about was WCW NWO World Tour.
It should say right there which one it was.
Yeah. And that was like the second best wrestling game, but we are at that point where WCW NWO, they're starting. Yes. After that,
this is 2000. This is
2000. The decline starts, right?
This is what is dubbed NWO 2000, WCW 2000, where I know I'm trying to limit our swearing on here, but shit goes bad real fast.
It's okay. We're past the 90-second mark.
Shit goes bad really fast for WCW at this time. I think by the end of 2000, early 2000, no, I think 2001, they get bought by WWE.
They do. Okay. So they get bought. But we're seeing a decline.
Yeah.
Now, the first game you're going to talk about, just because I know the list. Now,
we cut one at the end, but we'll get to it.
That's fine. But somewhere between 97 and this game in 2000.
So World Tour was 97, and this game is 2000.
2000. WWE, I just want to clarify this for the listeners. So we went from WWF still?
Yeah, so they're WWF until 2000. And I have the game in 2003 where it's called WWE. I think the switch was in 2002 though.
Okay, so this would be the last kind of landmark game under the WWF name.
Like important game?
Yeah. Important game.
I would say so. There might be one in between here, but it's not on the level of this game. In my opinion.
So WCW NWO is now on the decline.
And so are their games.
So are the games. I can't remember, but we're kind of around that time where I think PlayStation.
So should I just get into this first game?
Yeah,
first?
So let's go this because you have what consoles?
I have for each console these games came out on.
Okay.
So it's not any wrestling fan should know what game we're talking about here. This is No Mercy. for the
No Mercy.
N64.
So we're still N64.
This is so if you actually I have it right here, top of the list here. This is the last wrestling game made by Akai and Asmic Ace for the N64. So
Okay.
this was technic, and that's not just by the developers. This is, I believe, one of the last ones made for N64
In general,
for all wrestling games.
all
one,
wrestling games.
one of the
Okay.
last.
So, so not only are we seeing the decline. I mean, around this time though, if I'm not mistaken, when we talked about, like, if maybe I'm mixing it up. Maybe I'm talking. Have we talked about Grand Theft Auto yet? We did.
We did, yeah,
We
we
did.
had, yeah, we did.
Because this is around the time that Grand Theft Auto was on the PS2. So we're getting into discs gaming.
Yeah, I don't think the PS2 is out yet though, huh? 2000 N64 still.
Yeah, so 02, but the PlayStation 1's already out.
PS1, yeah, PS1's out because I have the next one is for PS2.
Okay. So we're kind of getting away from cartridge gaming. So
Yes.
No Mercy comes out. Tell me why was this a landmark?
Just a couple of small facts. Released November the 14th, 2000 in North America, December the 15th, 2000 for the EU. Published by THQ, which
that's a big one.
You will see THQ for the remainder of this list. I'll tell you this right now.
Okay, so in THQ, they're major.
When it comes to wrestling games, yes, they are major. There's a good portion of this list and even our next list for part 3 we get to maybe. They are very, very much around. But yes, so No Mercy is widely regarded as one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. This is on the most people's Mount Rushmores of wrestling video games.
Okay.
And I mean, I would not so much notes here. Due to its deep gameplay mechanics, the new storyline-driven championship mode, and its strong roster for the time is what it's counted on for being the best.
Okay.
It had the largest roster of the 4 WWE games at the time with 74 wrestlers.
Okay. Now, were these actually named wrestlers?
Yes, at this time, yeah.
I don't know why I had a southern twang there, but
I don't know why. I think once they started doing the brand games like WWF and WCW, these are legitimately named the WWF wrestlers. The 74 No Mercy was the first WWF game to use the AKI fighting style that was used in the previous WCW games that we talked about.
Okay.
So you know how we talked about the WCW games being the first games to introduce that special grappling system that was very rare. This was the first WWF game to get that system. So at the time they were on a whole different system of grappling and doing moves. No Mercy is the first game that they used the same system for WWF.
Okay. And I had to Google it real quick while we're talking. This is a big roster. You had like China on here, Rip, Chris Benoit.
Any wrestling fans will know why I tried to this.
But I mean, Kane was on here. I got to know the back. You got. I mean, everybody was on here. Matt Hardy, Rikishi, Scotty Too Hottie. Shout out to the commissioner. If you're listening. I mean, this is like a big The Rock. I mean, this is
Dwayne.
It says he was called The Rock in here.
I know. I like calling it.
Okay. Undertaker. I mean, this had. I mean, this was really.
This is so off topic. I'll make it quick. Can you do me a favor? Look at the roster. Go up to the B's.
Bees.
Is there? Is there someone named Bubba? BUH space BUH.
Bubba Ray Dudley.
Is it Bubba or is it two words or is it one word?
2 words.
Okay, I want to know when they changed his name to that because it's Bubba, but I guess at some point they changed it to Bubba. Oh, that was a stuttering gimmick. I remember that now. Anyway, the story mode is what is its most
story mode.
Yeah, story mode.
Has there been story mode before that?
I mean, these previous games I'm rating for World Tour, they had a mode similar to
Similar.
it, but it wasn't like a strict story-driven mode. There was more
Okay.
of like a gauntlet style mode.
Okay.
This is like a true through
Okay.
and through story mode
Okay.
that had great replayability because it's had it oh my god, it had a branching storyline. So basically, the way your story would play out is would be based on the outcome of the matches if you win or if you lose.
Okay.
Which means there are multiple endings and multiple pathways you can go down off the result of your matches. Which for this time being is insane because the games now
Mm-hmm.
don't have that.
Really?
No, the games now is it's one set storyline, and if you lose your match, you have to redo it. You have to redo it in order to keep going. With No
Okay.
Mercy, if you let's say if you lost your match in the story mode, you would go down the branch of what happens if you lose, and then there's a branch that you go down if you win. So it's very much
So
dependent.
so this is okay. So this, I mean, there's not a lot of games that did that. Like you have to win in a lot of your games to go down.
I mean, now most games story modes is you have to win this game in order to move forward with the story.
Right.
This
Right.
this allows you to be like, all right, if you win, you go down this path. If you lose, you have this path.
I can't think of a video game.
That's a good path. Like it allows you to, because let's say you win this, you win one match, it changes your whole thing. You could go back and say, all right, what's what happens if I lose this, and you could have a whole new experience.
Okay.
Another feature, but it's not really a feature. It's more of a thing now. It's kept it around for so long. There are a ton of mods for this game now.
How would you do that? How would you do that for
PC emulating? You just run it through your PC.
Oh, okay.
As emulator, and you can mod it through the
Even
files
back
there.
then?
No, this is for like now. This is what's.
Oh,
this is
okay.
talking about why it's so popular now. A lot of people run mods that get the roster up to like 300 wrestlers.
So can you do like you can do like modern day wrestlers?
That's
and stuff?
mainly what it is. People
Okay.
from like AEW current rosters, and yeah, I mean this is
Okay.
considered the holy grail of wrestling video games.
So this, figuratively and metaphorically, was putting the like foot on the throat of WCW and NWO when it came to video games. Because we won't talk about them again, essentially.
No, they're done. I mean, we could have, but they had one. I think they had one extra game.
So this was
it was not good.
This is where at the time, again, don't cancel us.
It
WWF.
It flipped the war.
It flipped the war in the video game world.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand. That's why I asked you at the beginning.
Yeah.
So okay, so No Mercy, just iconic. It's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling video games. So we turn the page, literally.
Yeah, literally.
We turn the page, and now WWE finishes their lawsuit with the WWF.
Yes.
With the WWF, and we look ahead towards the next game. Now, what year did this next game come out?
2003.
So WCW and NWO.
Well, I mean, WCW General's dead.
Okay, so WCW, NWO, that.
Actually, what's funny, the NWO are in this game.
They're in that game, but
they're not a part of the WCW, obviously.
Right. So
I think they're in this game. Are they in the next SmackDown game? I just know around this time, the NWO were a part of WWE.
Okay. So we move forward now. This next game, what console was it on?
This is for the PS2. It was
Okay.
The PS2 exclusive.
PS2 exclusive. So not only that, but PS2. I mean, we're getting like Grand Theft Auto 3 now. We're starting to see the capabilities, and from a video game perspective, going from N64 and cartridge games, like I know you had like the Nintendo GameCube, stuff like that. The PlayStation 1 would have been kind of the same era as the N64, but the PS2 goes to the next level. Like we were able to get like larger games, and I'm sure that reflects
I can't imagine what it was like when the PS2 came out.
it. I know I wanted it for Christmas. Like that's all I wanted.
Was the PS2 dubbed kind of set like it's the next like the future of gaming
It
kind of?
was. It
Like
was because even though we're gonna sidetrack for a second, like we're on PS5. You know, the PS5, I think Pro
the PS5 Pro is Christmas,
is
I
this
think, and I
Christmas.
think supposedly the PS6 and work, but I think the PS5 Pro is definitely Christmas.
The from PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, all it's been has been hardware improvements. And like yes, you were on the PS3 they introduced like Blu-ray, which yes was a great technology, but cartridge gaming was limited. The N64 was, 64 bits. The PS1 was kind of that first iteration of 64-bit on a disc. I think a lot of their games were even 32-bit. You weren't able to develop intense games. Like your PS1 had like Spyro, which you also had for N64. You had to consolidate your gaming. The PS2, you were able to actually create the games in a manner and create a storyline, right? So like Grand Theft Auto 3 was two different discs, and you had the ability to stop the game, pull one disc out, put the next disc in, and go to another mode. Like you were able to build like a full game. PS3, yeah, has, there's been integrations
I
and
think
stuff like that.
PS3 they instead of doing a two disc, they just managed to get
It
everything
was
onto one.
one because of the Blu-ray technology. You were able to get more in less, like more in less space. Um, PS4 was just an upgrade. PS5 has really they've been upgrades. Of course, you're able to get better graphics. A lot of that. That's what.
That's the only difference I've seen. Or in PS5, the only difference I've seen to PS4 was graphics, and I think the ability to play games at 120 frames and at 4K.
There you go. And just a fun science fact. I know we're not a science show, but like the human eye can only process so much. Like we can't go to like 6400K, right? Like we only process so much. So the PS2 like set us on a trajectory that we didn't have before. DVD was still in its infancy. We didn't have Blu-ray. The disc video was literally the size of like a record and stuff like that. So I think that's where you're going to start seeing the changes that happen so greatly. So anyway, so we're on to 2003, and what drops?
SmackDown. Here comes the pain.
Here comes the pain. And why was this so iconic?
Well, I mean, whew. This is a part of the legendary SmackDown series.
Okay.
I think this is game 4.
Okay.
I think it's 4. Don't quote me on this. I think it's 4. SmackDown. Shut your mouth. It's either 2. It's either 4 or 3. I'm not fully sure, but like I said, it's a PS2.
But this one was different from the other one.
This is This is like the one.
Okay.
This is the last one in the series.
Okay.
So this is the last one. This introduced the advanced and extensive grappling system while keeping the series' famous fast-paced gameplay. So they managed to up the grappling system kind of to match the old No Mercy system where it's more grapple based. You can do better moves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, its key thing about SmackDown series made it so great was it was such a fast paced wrestling game. They managed to do a nice new grappling system and keep that fast pace that the fans loved. I haven't played this game because I can't find this game. It also introduced a body damage display, so it's like an outline of a body, and then we get colored, so like yellow and orange and red.
Like up in the top corner.
Yeah, kind of show like
okay.
the damage you've taken. It added submission meters which allowed you to now like it's a meter that basically would allow you to like I don't know what the input is at the time, but with spammy buttons, and it's a meter to try and fill it out, to tap out, or to get out of a submission. You had this actually I don't think it did this early. The ability to break submissions by crawling to the ropes.
Oh.
Sounds like a minor thing to some people, but to think about at this time that a key rule in the actual wrestling was you can break submissions by crawling to the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
They managed to add that to the game where you can now crawl while in a submission hold to also break. They give you another way to
So
add to the realism of, of the game, pretty much.
that's where the PS2 was able to add layers.
I guess so, huh?
That's where the technology was able to add those layers.
Which they don't have now apparently, because I tried doing it the other day and it did not work.
We'll get to 2K.
Yeah. The each of them they introduced also that each individual character
Mhm.
had new attributes, strength, endurance, and speed. So they each had based on like probably like someone like Brock Lesnar, who was a cover athlete for this game, probably had pretty much maxed out strength, I would assume, and probably maxed out speed because Brock's a freak.
So this was in 2003. So this is obviously a future episode. We're going to talk about that. Madden had that for years.
Yeah, I mean it's just based off the developers, like
Yeah. Oh, anyway.
But I mean, like that probably is more important to a football game than it is to a wrestling game.
I mean, it's still a sport, right?
They say it is. I mean,
it's a sport game.
Sport, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, and the last little key piece of things they introduced 2 new match types for the first time. They introduced the famous Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
And they added the bra and panties match for the first time.
Are we gonna get canceled?
No, it's not. I mean, it's pretty much it is what it sounds like.
Okay.
Roster size was 65 for this time.
So
we're getting the bigger rosters now.
But that's less than the last one.
Yes. No Mercy was 74.
So we went down, but
you gotta think in 3 years, you gotta think of who left the company, who came in the company. That's always gonna affect your roster size. And just like No Mercy, its peakness and what it's famous for, it's season mode, which is basically like a career mode.
And that's still something part of the games today.
Still minimally around.
So that introduced that?
No. It had it, but it was more of a polished, revamped.
Okay, so it's closer to what we have today.
Yeah, it's kind of trying to get closer to where we're getting at. And
okay.
The season mode you'll see a lot going forward too.
Okay.
That's the part. But that's all I got.
2003.
October 27th, 2003 for North America. November 7th, 2003 for the EU. Published by THQ. Developed by Ukes, which all my boys. I love that company.
I'm saying that one theme though.
THQ?
No. They love bringing these games out, so they're on your Christmas wish list.
Yeah, I mean, let's see the next one. The next one could be, but let's see the last one.
The last one was...
The last one definitely.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Yeah, the next one, questionable. But yeah.
So, on the next game, so that one sets the... We're starting to polish it. We're starting to add features that are more realistic.
Yeah, now we're getting more to the... Okay. Now we got to start moving away from the arcadey style gameplay, kind of start going towards...
More of a simulation.
Realistic sim wrestling games, which...
Okay, kind of like your Madden.
Kind of like how Madden kind of went from like a arcade cartoony type football game to where now it's like you're playing like a simulation.
There's actual strategies and stuff. Okay,
so there's not enough. There's not like you can't do like flying, bouncing moonsaults and do these crazy like the glitches. It's more polished now.
So now the next one. So we go from 2003 to
2005.
Okay, so we're right smack dab in the middle of 2000s.
Yes, and I should point out this to be just a piece of information that I should put out here. When we jump years, it's not because there was no games made in this time.
These are just
the highlights of the games during the time
that we feel pushed.
Yeah,
the wrestling.
I mean, obviously there was probably another game in 2004, and there's probably another game at the end of 2003, and But this one is probably one in the in the start of 2000. It's of 2005. But
Okay.
these are the ones that we think pushed wrestling games into the future. Which this one we're on now in 2005 would be Days of Reckoning 2,
Days of Reckoning Dos.
the second one.
Like this
Yes.
episode, part 2.
Yes. And this is the only this game was made for one system, and it's the first time the system I think is gonna make has made its debut in this series,
Okay.
the GameCube.
This was strictly for the GameCube.
I only could find it for the GameCube.
So 2005, we're
there
on the
could be other
GameCube.
copies for different consoles, but when I was doing my research, I legitimately could only find this game for the GameCube.
Okay. Now, I just want to point out. Now, this system had been out for 4 years. It ended up being discontinued in 2007.
Hey,
So
don't diss on the GameCube.
No. What I'm trying to go with that is we're already moving into, like, we're talking about the PS. The PS2 has been out for a while. I think the PS2 Slim is out.
Our
now.
next game is gonna definitely do our next jump of consoles.
Right.
We'll get ahead, but
No. But what I'm trying to do the timeline is around this time. I'm almost positive like the GameCube is almost out the door. It was still around for a couple more
we're
years.
really pushing to now the disc heavy.
And because the GameCube was a smaller disc.
It was a tiny disc.
It was a tiny disc, and I'm pretty sure at this point they're already developing the Wii and stuff like that.
Isn't the Wii 2007?
Correct. What I'm saying, it's in development.
I know, but I'm thinking of like the time period of when that started with 2007, right when the GameCube would have gone away.
Discontinued, yeah. So we're probably on this arching. So it's interesting. The reason why I say that, it's interesting that
for a game at this time is being made for the GameCube.
Strictly because PS2 is just. I don't remember the timeline, but I'm pretty sure Vice City is already out. 2005, I believe that's the summer that GTA San Andreas came out.
That's actually. I'm just gonna make sure one time. Well, I want to make sure this is. Yeah. So
San Andreas is out.
So Days of Reckoning. So actually, the first one, Days of Reckoning 1 and Days of Reckoning 2, were exclusively made for the GameCube.
Interesting. And
Days of Reckoning 1 was out in 2004, and this game was out in 2005.
So why is this game so important to going?
All right. So let's hit our familiar. This is published by THQ and Ukes. I mean, they're on the streak right now.
They're cooking.
You don't want to stop them off.
Don't take them out of the kitchen. They're the Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. So we have August 29th, 2005, and September 23rd, 2005.
Okay.
August for figure it out. Days of Reckoning 2. Hey, relax. It polished up and improved on things from Days of Reckoning 1, which made the second game more popular. It would be the last game for GameCube.
Makes sense.
Obviously. And they improved the following: its graphics, an expanded story mode with longer, engaging, branching storyline, which is now, I think, is a common thing with these last three. They really went hard on a branching storyline for the story mode.
And this is where if you lose, it would branch off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I have it written down because it's what it said on its thing. It initiated a move away from button mashing.
Move away from button mashing.
So maybe that means they're moving away from the concept of fighting games being you mash the buttons and more of like a strategically timed based system.
Right.
Maybe I couldn't find more on that.
But you know what I appreciate about that? This is the GameCube. I'm not bashing the GameCube.
No, if anything, you're complimenting it. Like they were able to put the game on the GameCube.
On the GameCube, because you got to think PS2. San Andreas has been out for a year, which is a full story mode. It's one of the larger maps that has ever been made. You have, I think, Call of Duty's on the scene now. Medal of Honor. Like you have these.
Oh, Call of Duty's been on the scene for a minute here.
Right. What and what was it? Was WWF.
This is WWE.
WWE said we're gonna triple down and put it on.
So, look, thing is, the Days of Reckoning series, like I said earlier,
only for GameCube.
Only GameCube. It wasn't like they put this one game. This whole series
was on GameCube.
Is just GameCube.
Okay, so I appreciate that.
And I think there was one other game, like I think it was WrestleMania 19.
Okay.
That game was also made for GameCube.
Okay. Was there a big roster on this one?
I actually didn't have the roster sizes. I couldn't find the roster size on
Interesting.
this.
Okay.
I would assume so, but again, with it being the GameCube, I don't
Might
know
have been
how
limited.
much you could
Might
have
have been
gotten away
limited.
with.
So WWE does right. They give a nice send off to the GameCube, give themselves a final
Yeah.
piece, final reckoning to the GameCube. I like that.
And I'll just make quick because that's probably we want to get to our main event here.
Yeah.
They introduced basically this is the thing they introduced into Days Reckoning. They introduced 4 types of submissions now. You had your taunt submission, arrest submission, drain, and regular submissions, which it apparently was new, but each of did little things. So taunt, it depleted your opponent's momentum meter. Rest allowed you to regain your stamina. Drain took away your opponent's stamina, and a regular would just cause damage to a certain body part. So if you were having an arm bar, it would just do damage to your arm. If you're doing like a sharpshooter, it would probably be your leg.
Does that mean we still had the little meter for the body meter?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then they added a stamina system for this game.
Okay.
So you had a meter that affected your speed, and this is a cool feature for the GameCube. When your stamina meter was low, it left you vulnerable to attacks. So you constantly want to make sure your stamina's up, otherwise you could get attacked very easily. And the level that your wrestler was bleeding at the time also affected how much stamina you would lose or gain.
Okay.
So some very advanced systems for GameCube.
Yeah, no, I like that.
I don't know how many more games were made for the GameCube of that magnitude.
Probably not many. Maybe a few Mario games.
Mario Party. I played on that.
Yeah. So I probably Mario Party, stuff like that, but
Super Sluggers.
So
all right. So before I say this last
backyard
game,
baseball.
Is that on GameCube?
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
All right. So we're on our last game.
Last game now.
There was originally supposed to be a 5th game on here, but it was not good.
That's fine. So what year is this?
TNA Impact for the 360 and the PS3. Came out 2008. Was just not a good game.
Okay.
Anyways, this is 2006.
Okay, so if this is the last game, so from 06 to 2010, there just wasn't a leap, right? We're just re-chewing the same information like Madden does.
Yeah, so I think for me, 07, Batman vs. Raw 2007, we're talking about here, I believe was like the last game where they really tried to introduce. I feel like after 2007, it started taking things away instead of adding things.
Okay, so and remember on this episode we're just going to 2009 is the last year.
Yeah, which we don't get to at all. We end
no problem. We end in 2006. So just to kind of recap, so we've shifted from cartridge N64 game. We're into the last one we just talked about was GameCube, but we're PS2, GameCube.
We had a nice PS2 streak. I think I introduced by GameCube. I'm here to tell you right now, we are back on the PS2 and the Xbox 360.
Okay, so we're back in the PS2, Xbox 360. Now that's new.
The 360, yes.
Okay.
I believe there was. Don't confirm, but I was told from what I read that there is somewhere a version that was made for the original Xbox. Because when it came to release time, it only got released for the 360.
I'm not surprised. Companies start doing things and then consoles drop.
Yeah. So this is SmackDown versus Raw 2007.
Okay.
November 14th, 2006.
Back to Christmas.
For the US. November 10th, 2006 for the EU. So Christmas time game, like always.
All right.
THQ and Ukes, because they're on their streak. And like you said, the Xbox 360 and the PS2, which I think the 360 is like brand new at this time.
Pretty 06. Oh, I think PS3 is too.
This is PS2.
I'm sorry, PS2. Oh, Xbox 360. Yes.
Within the last year, right? Like 2005 and 2006?
I believe so.
All right. We are on potentially the great game of all time. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. I showed this to SVR. In my opinion, I had this written down. In my opinion, the best game in the SmackDown vs. Raw series.
Okay. The best.
Hands down.
Okay.
to me, and I have hands-on experience on this game.
Okay.
I'm here to tell you it's the best. This game introduced the ultimate control feature, interactive hotspots, and the ability to fight in the crowd.
In the crowd.
In the crowd.
So
I have one little point I want to get off here,
okay,
but
go ahead. Go
well,
ahead.
no, say your part first.
No, I was gonna say. So now you're not limited to the ring or just outside the ring. You get to go to the crowd.
Yeah, you can go in the crowd. Which
Okay.
when they say the crowd, it doesn't mean like you can just hop the barricade at wherever and start fighting other people. There was one section in the corner, and there's a little pathway you could follow, and you were limited to like a little box area. So it's not like you can just go in the middle of people that are fighting. It was still limited, but I mean,
Okay.
for the time, I would be dumb not to mention its legendary soundtrack too.
Legendary soundtrack.
Legendary.
How legendary?
So legendary that uh, that when it comes to SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, when you ask some people who played the game, one of the first things they will mention about the game is its soundtrack. That's how legendary it is.
Okay.
There were this soundtrack was so legendary that there are songs on this soundtrack.
This is SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Okay. All right. So while
that
you're talking,
influenced me into different genres of music.
That big.
Pushed me.
Okay.
I mean, there's one song in here I think is the most. It's like tied to this game.
So, all right. So real quick, I'm just looking just out of curiosity. Just let's see. All right. While we're looking. All right. So, there's some great. So we had 3 Days Grace, Godsmack.
3 Days Grace. That's the one.
Blackstone Cherry, Rise Against, Ghostface Killa versus the World. I mean, you had
what's the 3 Days Grace song? I think there's 2 on there, right?
Riot and Animal I Have Become.
That's the song right there.
Yep, Godsmack, The Enemy, Rise Against,
yeah, I mean,
Survive. Okay, all right, some bangers.
Yes, but we're not here about the music. Let's talk about these features this game added, which I believe the first feature I'll talk about was only in this game, and then the game after 2008. I think after 2008 they got rid of it for some reason.
Okay.
This is the ultimate control feature. So
okay.
this is a add-on to the grappling control system for this game. It allows the player to execute directional grapple moves the first time.
Directional, okay.
So you actually can now control the direction you throw someone or the direction.
Really?
Yep, and each way, and depending on the way you moved your stick, it would do a different type of move.
So we got away from RNG.
Yeah, now you're in control.
Okay.
Each superstar has 4 moves with 12 total in the game.
Okay.
Then they have the interactive hotspot feature. This feature allowed players to do a special move based off certain locations around the arena, or if they were in a backstage brawl in the parking lot. It depended. You could do a special animation based off of examples. Okay. If you were in the ring and the turnbuckle pad is off, you could do a special animation where you would slam your opponent's head into the exposed turnbuckle. If you were on the outside near the announce table with the camera wire, you could then do animation to choke them out with the camera wire. If you're maybe not attacking, you could now interact with the crowd. The crowd would hold up signs, or they would hold out weapons, and you could grab the weapons from the crowd, or you could.
That's cool.
Or when it comes to signs, there's two things. You had your good guys and your bad guys in the game.
Okay.
If you were a good guy and you interacted with a fan holding a sign, you would take the sign, hold it up, like try and show like look at this, and then give it back. If you were a bad guy, you would take the sign and rip it and then throw it away. So you had way more interaction, way more.
It got the player involved.
Yeah. So I mean, the examples of the hotspots, there was a whole page or 2 more that I could have gone on, but gotta keep it short. So,
all right.
Again, this game also had its season mode
So
and a my GM mode too. I think 07 had.
okay, all right. So is that all you got?
This is all I got written
Okay.
down. I'm just gonna,
So
let me go off my head of what I remember for the game.
so all right. So we're 20 years now from when we roughly give or take a few years.
Yeah, we'll be 2 years from the
Well,
1 year now.
where I'm going with this, we're about 20 years now into the wrestling video game world. Okay. About 2 decades from the original, what was it, Commodore 64, that had basically turn-based game. Like you press a certain amount of buttons, there's a predetermined script to now you can throw people certain directions, you're interacting with the crowd. And I could see why this is such an iconic game. Like you went from pixelated turn based, right? Like flipping Uno cards to being part of the world of wrestling.
Yeah, I think
this
this is
game.
like a 30 frames a second game. Like now we're talking about
Yeah.
frame rate, and we're talking about like
And
720.
and and now we're starting to get into the immersive world, right? Yeah. So we've taken this up and down. At this point, WWE is the main
yeah,
show.
I mean, like
around
I said,
the world.
There was one other company at the time, TNA Wrestling, but I mean, they
so we're at the peak.
Yeah,
they're able, that's why they're dumping so much money. There's so little competition, and like, and this is why that we broke this into three parts, right? Because we're gonna pause there before we get into the 2010s to now, which I know is 15 years, but we're gonna combine it because there's a lot of repetition.
Yeah, I mean, this game came out in 06, so what? 07 would be SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, which wasn't really good. SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, which again was a good game, but again, just favorite features.
So
I mean, you'll still be in the SmackDown vs. Raw series until 2011. But I mean, other than that, I mean, there's nothing else for comes to wrestling.
So we're WWE gets comfortable, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they get comfortable with the SmackDown versus Raw series, and I don't know about this, but I think SmackDown versus Raw was like the only wrestling game being produced at this time. Like there was nothing else really.
So we're at that point then where we're ready for the next gen console.
Yeah.
To be able to do anything. So we're maximizing the PS2, 360. Now we're just waiting for the next.
We've reached the point where it's now we can't improve on much with our current the limitations of these consoles. We gotta move forward.
All right, and I'm assuming we're gonna get into the 2K introductions and
we will. Yes.
And I think we may even talk about some mobile games.
It's on there. It's on there.
Okay, so we're gonna shift into really the modern era of video games, and I'm assuming there's some repetition in there because
it gets really repetitive.
A lot of video games do. In that 2010s era and really early 2020s.
Don't want to get too much away, but it gets really repetitive once they hit that 2K mark. Once they start to go with 2K, that's where you start to see it gets into its repetitive mark. But we'll go into much more detail.
Get there. So that's the 2000s. We have seen WWE take over and WCW and WO put the old systems. The cartridge is dead. Outside of like maybe some Game Boys at this point. We are now into disc gaming. We're creating storylines, immersive, like people are soaked into the game.
We're moving away from the arcade style of video games. Now we're moving into the realism. Wanting more sim-based games.
Okay. So that's part 2.
That is indeed.
We're gonna record part 3 soon. But with that, like, you know, it amazes me, this story, because I'm not a wrestling fan, right? So I'm learning a lot of this brand new. I literally only had one wrestling game growing up, and somebody bought it for me for my birthday. I didn't go out and go get it. So it's fun to see how this is progressing, right? And you know, you look at video games over the years, like first person shooter, you know, your days of Wolfenstein and Duke or
Was Wolfenstein out back then?
in the 90s. Yes.
See, I thought that was a newer game
No.
because I've played
Wolf. Yeah.
Wolfenstein. I thought that was like a game maybe like
Nope.
2013, 14. That's a
Yeah.
the
No. No.
90s.
No. It's from the. It's. I might even be earlier. I don't know. I have all the details. I didn't do research on this. For sure 90s because I remember playing it on the PC in the 90s.
Okay.
Wolfenstein. We you first person shooters, a lot of that, but like
And Medal of Honor,
Medal of Honor, COD obviously
Call
still
of Duty,
around,
Battlefield,
but
Counter Strike.
wrestling, it's interesting to see the curve of the technology on the wrestling games because and we'll get into like episodes around like Madden and football games or baseball games, but those games really accelerated quick because they had a huge backing, right? And I'm not calling wrestling small, but like even like FIFA games, like they progress so much faster. So it's interesting to see
Oh, I get it. Yeah,
how
that
the
makes sense.
curve goes. I'm invested now because I don't know, right? I'm learning this all first time from you. So, um, but yeah, I mean, tune in for part 3. Um, that'll be the final iteration of the wrestling video game history. But good job, Tyler. I'm excited. If you have stuck it around, please hit that like and subscribe. Follow us on every social media platform. I know everybody doom scrolls, so just hit that like, subscribe so you can see all of our content. And with that, Tyler, you got anything else?
No.
Well, we hope you keep it real.